श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। उकारो अन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवांसस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यतायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we already saw the meaning of Shanti Mantra, which is the Shanti Mantra of Atharva Vediya Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. I already mentioned you in our tradition, before entering to a Vedic chanting or before entering to the studies of Upanishad, the respective Shanti Mantra should be recited. They chant for the accomplishing the proper result, and also without having obstacle in the pursuit of knowledge as well as in the pursuit of actions. For that, we seek the blessings, the grace from the Lord. For that purpose only, we chant Shanti Mantra. We already mentioned all these things. Now, we are entering to the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Commentator Adi Shankara, in his own words, there are two prayers written before starting the commentary on Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. We saw while studying Kathopanishad, there was a prayer written by Adi Shankara before entering to the Kathopanishad. We always used to chant that also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidya Acharyaya Nachiketase Maha. So, in few Upanishads, before starting the Upanishad teachings, Adi Shankara has written prayers in his own words. So in our tradition, these prayers are also considered to be chanted for accomplishing the proper results mentioned by the Upanishad, as well as the actions which are mentioned in the Upanishad while performing. We should get the proper results. For that, in order to remove the obstacles, in order to achieve the results, we are supposed to chant Shanti Mantras as well as these prayers written by Adi Shankara. So we will start with that prayers, looking at the meaning of the prayers, and that we will enter into the mantra, the verses of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Right now, I will read the first prayer written by Adi Shankara before entering into the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Prajnānam Shupratanai Sthiracharanikara Vyapibhirvyapya Lokan Bhuktva Bhogan Stavishtan Punarabhidhishanotpasitan Kamajanyan Pitva Sarvan Visheshan Swapiti Madhurabhung Mayaya Bhojayan Naha Maya Sankhya Turiyam Paramamritamajam Brahmayattanatosmi. So this is the first prayer. Once more I will read for the sake of creating some enthusiasm in the mind of the listeners to chant. Prajnanam Shuprathanai Sthiracharanikara Vyapibhirvyapya Lokan Bhuktva Bhogan Stavishtan Punarabhidhishano Asidan Kamajanyan Vitva Sarvan Visheshan Supiti Madhurabhung Mayaya Bhojayan Naha Maya Sankhya Sturiyam Paramamritamajam Brahmayattanatosmi. We will see the meaning of this prayer. As few of us already have some background listening the Upanishads, and a few others who are beginners in Upanishad teachings, we need to know the relevance of the prayers and the subject matter which is introduced to the prayers. A prayer, I already mentioned you in a single definition while we are chanting Mrityunjaya mantra for 108 times in the time of pandemic. It is an application, it is a request which we keep in front of the all-pervasive Lord, which will never get rejected at any point of time. It is accepted completely by the all-pervasive Lord. So it's an application or it's a request which never get rejected by the all-pervasive Lord. This is the simple way of understanding the prayers which are introduced by our traditional teachers. Now, this is a prayer which we keep in the feet of all-pervasive entity we call Brahman. The word Brahman comes from the word Brih, the biggest of everything. One who can sustain the entire universe, which are known to me, which are also unknown to me. So, I bow in front of this all-pervasive Brahman. Brahma yad tannatosmi. I bow, I salute, I keep my all thoughts in the feet of Brahman. I bow in front of Brahman. Brahma yat tannatos. That Brahman is also called Param, the ultimate, the supreme reality of the entire universe, the one and only truth in this universe. All other things are names and forms, which are depending on this truth for its existence and for its survival. We know or we should know that. For the beginners, I am introducing that only truth is Brahman. On this Brahman, all the names and forms are depending for its survival, for its existence. Without the Brahman, there is no names and forms, because names and forms are just a superimposition on the truth, what we call the Brahman. So it is also called the ultimate reality or the supreme reality. Param, Amritam, Ajam. I am coming from the last sentence of the prayer. I bow in front of the Brahman, which is the ultimate reality, which is also Amritam, eternal, never get destroyed by secondary thing or itself. It will be always permanent at any point of time. That is called eternal. I bow in front of the Brahman, which is the ultimate reality, which is the eternal truth or eternal entity, and also Ajam. We all know that any entity in this universe will have a time duration which starts from a time and also it will end in one point of time. But this entity, which is the truth of all names and forms, never end or never starts. It is birthless. It is echoing that eternal, birthless. Anything which is subject to birth is also unreal, which is also impermanent in this universe. But this truth, which is called Brahman, which is my intrinsic nature, is birthless, never subject to death and birth. Because death is a coincident when an entity has to get a birth. So, there is no birth and death for this Brahman, which is the truth, which is eternal, which is the ultimate reality. Param, Amritam, Ajam, Brahmaha, Yad, Tat, Naha. I bow in front of this supreme entity. Now, coming to the first line. Now we are getting the features introduced by the commentator of the Brahman through the prayer. What we are going to study exactly is being introduced by the 3 lines of this prayer. Now the first line, Prajnana Amshu Pratanaihi. Amshu, rays. We say sun rays, correct? Rashmi. In Sanskrit, Rashmi. Amshu, rays. Which are Prajnanam. Ultimate consciousness. The rays which are ultimate consciousness. we have seen rays in the form of light, but this rays is in the form of consciousness. The consciousness which are in the form of rays, pratanaihi, by spreading everywhere, all pervasive. The ultimate consciousness which is spreading all over the universe, where it is available in everywhere. Stira, chara, nikara, vyapitihi. Where it is been, where this consciousness, the rays which are consciousness is been there, spread in the stira. Stira means permanent thing which are available for our eyes, gross things. Stira, chara, nikara. Anything which is moving, anything which is non-moving, anything which is inert, anything which is sentient, we have to take in that way. Stira, chara, nikaraihi. Stira, chara, nikara, vyaptibihi. By pervading in all things. What are the things we see with our eyes? Those things, stira, chara, nikara, vyaptibihi. Vyapya logan. Everywhere. Don't forget the first line which I explained you. I bow in front of the Brahman, which is the supreme reality, which is birthless, which is permanent, subject to, not subject to death or not subject to birth. That Brahman who is consciousness, that consciousness in the form of rays is spreading all over the universe. In the universe, what are they? Stira, chara, nikarai, which are moving, which are non-moving, which are stable, which are sentient, which are inert, everywhere. When we say all pervasive, it includes everything. All the living beings, stone, mountains, earth, fire, all the things we have been. Stira chara nikara vyaptibhir vyapya lokan. Everywhere. So in the waking state, vyapya lokan, everywhere it is spreading all over the universe. In the waking state, bhuktva bhogan stavishtan. Stavishtan. In the waking state, it enjoys every object through our body. We enjoy different things in this world through our body. We see objects, we listen the noises, we smell the fragrance, we talk and eat, we enjoy by touching the flower. So all the panchendriyas are activated by the presence of this consciousness, which is spreading all over the universe through its rays. Then, bhogan bhuktva, enjoying all the objects in the gross way, in the waking state, stavishtan. In the waking state, enjoying everything, and also After enjoying, it will enter into the second state. After enjoying all the gross object, this consciousness, who is Brahman, which I do my salutations, this is the matter which we are going to study. That's why Adi Shankara written a prayer exactly what we are going to study. The waking state is mentioned in the first line. The rays of consciousness in the waking state pervades everywhere, goes everywhere, enjoy everything. The objects which are right in front of me, I grasp them, I interact with them, I do my activities with them in the empirical world, in the waking state, and I will have certain impressions in my mind after having some dealings with the gross objects. That Brahman again make the body to go to the next state. That's been introduced in the second line. Punarabhidishanot bhasidan kamajanyan. Whatever I have enjoyed in the waking state, those things will be subtle inside my mind, inside my intellect, in the form of impressions. Those activities also will be there in the form of subtle in my mind. Thus, my consciousness, who is Brahman, will be available inside my mind to enjoy all these impressions which I have enjoyed in the waking state. That things are being created inside the mind itself, which I enjoyed outside of this world, apart from my body. Now, everything inside my body, the same Brahman, through the intellect, it creates, because all the impressions are being stored inside the intellect or in the mind. Whatever I have enjoyed in the waking state. So it is been told like this: Dishano, Dishana, intellect or mind, Bhasidan, Kamajanyan, through my desires, which are already occupying in my mind or intellect, and my impressions, which I have enjoyed in the waking state, all are mixed up. Really speaking, I already mentioned you, there is no specific rules in dream. Dreams don't follow any rule. Anybody can dream anything in this world. But all the things which appear in the dream will be connected to one of our activities, one of our interaction, one of our impression, one of our desires. Somehow it is occupying in our mind. Suppose you never see anaconda, you never saw anaconda in your life. You doesn't have a chance. You don't have a chance to see an anaconda in your life. Even you didn't see the movie. But you may enjoy a dream of anaconda, the biggest snake. How? Without seeing, with the movie, without seeing directly in this world, how I get a dream of anaconda? A question arises. Hey, you already listened about the anaconda from your friend. That itself is an experience in the empirical world. That's enough to create a dream of anaconda. That's why I told you there is no specific rule to see a dream. Anything you can see in the dream. Listening itself will have an impression, will make an impression inside our mind. And the dream is always made of external things in our mind. All are in the form of thoughts. Never any external thing come inside our mind. The external things which you have experienced in the gross state is being highlighted, spreaded inside the mind in the form of thoughts when you come to the dream state. And the word state itself shows that it's an impermanent vyavastha, an impermanent condition. Whenever you say a state, that word state itself shows that it's a condition which echoes impermanent. That means waking state itself is impermanent, even though we can say 1,000 times waking state is impermanent. We are putting Herculean effort to make houses, to get married, to make our children study, to understand certain things through books. All these efforts are in the waking state, even though we know that waking state is unreal. Because the word state itself will remark or tell us, I am impermanent. So after the waking state, there is a condition. It will go to another state, either go to directly sleep or to the dream state. Normally, there is a time duration for dream. After the waking state, before entering to the deep sleep state, there is a small time duration. In between, you will think certain things which occurred today or day before, yesterday or yesterday's, whatever it may be. So here, this consciousness, which is all pervasive in the form of rays, that consciousness which spread everywhere in this waking state and enjoy different things. And after that, then it will enter into the dream state. All the things which are experienced right now or before are being bring forth inside the mind through the form of thoughts. Punarabi Dishanodbhasidan Kamajanyan. It may be our desires. It may be our partial experiences. It may be something you collected through listening or seeing. All these things are being highlighted. So this consciousness itself become lot of objects in the form of thoughts, and it experiences the dream state. A big work, one state after another. Prajnanamshu pradhanai sthiracharanikara vyapibhir vyapyalokan. All the world, all over the world, it spread the rays of consciousness in the waking state and enjoy different things. After that, it will enter into the dream state and enjoy the same thing or some other things which are being reported by the senses inside the mind. And dream is produced, manifested, all the things. And afterwards, pitva. Really, pitva means drunk, but here merging. After seeing all the things in the dream state, it will merge us. It will merge inside. Everything will go to this causal body, which will be introduced later by me, from the subtlest form, the dream, the objects, the thoughts in the form of thoughts will be merging to the causal body. So, in the waking state, five senses are active. In the dream state, only the mind is active. The five senses are non-active. In the dream state, in the deep sleep state, neither mind is active nor the senses are active. Both are inactive without having any connection. They are just like, without having any, but just like dead, nothing. They don't go to interact to the external world. They don't know themselves. They are, they don't know they are connected in a body, nothing. Really speaking, consciousness, when it appears in our intellect, then the intellect reflects to the world. From the intellect, the consciousness gets reflected. That reflection is called jiva. Jiva means an individual soul. An individual soul is nothing, the reflected consciousness. For the beginners, it might be a bit confused, nothing to worry. Try to understand the whole scenario. All other technical terms you can keep aside. Even though Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is a simple Upanishad, the meaning is bit deep and one should put effort even after listening. So after listening, after enjoying the things in the dream state, the body will enter into the deep sleep state. There, nothing is available except happiness. We are all experienced in the sleep. There is no any activities by the external body. There is no other activities produced by our mind. So it's all just merged in the causal body. Pitva, after merging, Sarvan Visheshan. Visheshan means all the activities, all the desires, all our impressions, all these things will go to the unmanifested form. Sarvan Visheshan. Everything will go to the unmanifested form. Sarvan Visheshan Supiti. In the deep sleep state. And we only come to know Madhura Bhum, which is in the form of happiness. Remember, deep sleep state is really very near to the consciousness, which is our ultimate goal. In deep sleep state, there is no duality, but there is ignorance. When there is ignorance, I cannot understand. I am a non-dual reality. Ignorance is being interrupted to know the reality. That is why in the deep sleep state, nobody is enlightened. All the people go to sleep because they need some rest. They say, really, the whole body is merged in the causal body. Subtle body, gross body get merged in the causal body. All the impressions will go to the seed form, unmanifested conditions, and you are not aware of your body. You are a non-dual entity, but we are not aware by ourselves. Pitva sarvan visheshan. All the things, all the objects, all the impressions, variety of objects produced in the dream state and also the waking state, all are being merged. And also Madhurabhum, enjoying Madhurabhum, who is the enjoyer of all this non-dualistic state. He is enjoying through Maya, Mayaya, Ojayan Naha, Mayaya, Maya. Very famous word which is introduced in the prayer itself. We are not aware of ourselves in the deep sleep state. In another Upanishad, it says that a king is not known to be a king in the deep sleep state. A lion is not known as a lion in the deep sleep state. What to talk about ourselves? We don't have any idea while sleeping where I am, who I am, how much money is there in my pocket, in the purse, where I am sleeping, when I should wake up. Is there anybody nearby? Nothing is there because of ignorance. Maya. Maya has two different activities. Avaranam, vikshepam. Avaranam, covering. Vikshepam, projection. The reality is being covered and the unreality is projected. Avarana vikshepavati maya. So, my ignorance is other word called Maya. Here in this verse, to understand for the beginners, my ignorance, which is the product of Maya, I am not aware of myself. I am not aware of my desires. I am not aware of my impressions. I am not aware of anything. I just relaxed, merging everything inside the causal body in the deep sleep state. Neither mind nor physical body are active in the deep sleep state. Just it is on. And we don't know we are enjoying the happiness of non-duality in Maya. I am enjoying the non-duality where there is no separation from me and the Jagat. I enjoy a lot. Non-duality is being there. There is an there is an enjoying way for a person in the deep sleep state. Really, it's not an enjoyment. It's only the absence of miseries. Deep sleep state, really, it's not an enjoyment state. It's only the absence of miseries. That's why deep sleep state, whatever we enjoy, it's due to the ignorance, not knowing anything about the reality and the non-realistic world. So here he says, now whatever we have studied up to this, I will just say, for the sake of connecting everything. I bow in front of the Brahman who is permanent, who is birthless, who is Amritam, which is immortal, and who is having the consciousness as its intrinsic nature, and in the form of phrase, it spread everywhere, and in the waking state, as an individual soul, who is the reflected consciousness, enjoy this world and objects, everything in the gross, in the gross, in the waking state, and after enjoying all the things, interacting with all the things, the same consciousness which was reflecting through our intellect will merge into the deep, in the dream state. There, the physical activities are not there, but there are some internal activities which are in the form of dreams due to my desires, due to my impressions, due to my sankalpas. All the things are put together. The same consciousness, when get reflected through the intellect, will go through these two states, from the waking state, and it will go to the dream state. After enjoying the dream state, it will go to the deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state, there is no external activities, there is no internal activities, only happiness remain due to the non-duality, due to the not knowing experiences, not knowing the external world, or not knowing the internal world, or the objects, or about myself. Nothing is there. Abheda Bhavana is retained. Non-duality is retained. Due to that, absence of miseries, because miseries are miseries are the cause of duality. When there is no duality, there is no miseries. Then there is some happiness. Absence of miseries are in the form of happiness. Madhura Bhung, one who enjoy the happiness, and also through Maya only. Maya will cover all the miseries. Suspension of all my worries in the deep sleep state. There is no understanding of my body itself. I don't know I have a mind in the deep sleep state. What to talk about the entities around. Thus, in the deep sleep state, there is no projection of anything. There is only covering of Maya. Nothing is manifested. Punarabi Dishanos Bhasidan Kamajanyan. Then, afterwards, it will enter into the deep sleep state. Everything will get merged and it will stay in the unmanifested form. Nothing is outside now in the as a dream or as a gross object. Mayaya Bojayannaha. Everything is being enjoyed in the unmanifested condition. Everything will not be available due to the ignorance or due to the obstruction of Maya. Thus the person feel the absence of worries. Then how the Brahman is understood properly. We are going to study that. Shankaracharya has written a prayer taking the gist of this Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Mayaya Bojayannaha. Then Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Turiyam, the fourth number. From the standpoint of empirical reality, Brahman will be considered as the fourth in number. How? First, it appears in the waking state, 1. Then it will appear in the dream state, 2. Then it will appear in the deep sleep state, 3. And it appears as the real entity of these 3 states. Then Maya Sankhya Turiyam. From the standpoint of empirical reality, when these 3 states are being considered in numbers 1, 2, 3, all these 3 states are occurring due to the presence of the fourth object, what we called Brahman. That is why Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Chaturam word becomes Turiyam, fourth in number. How the word Turiya Avastha came? Turiya Avastha, one who practice meditation, there is a state called Turiya Avastha. What is Turiya Avastha? The fourth state. The first state, what we are interacting right now, we are studying under traditional teachers. We are looking into the scriptures. We go eating food. We enjoy some amusements. We deal with a second reality. We are all familiar of waking state. Then second state, dream state. Nothing is there externally, but everything is created in the intellectual form or in the form of thoughts. Then that is the second. And everywhere there will be a name also. When the reflected consciousness is in the waking state, it has a name. When the reflected consciousness is in the dream, it has a name. When the reflected consciousness is merged, everything in the form, whatever in the form of waking state and dream state, then it has a form in the deep sleep state. When we consider from the standpoint of these 3 states, Brahman is also considered as the fourth, not state, fourth destination. That is why Turiyam, Chaturam, 4, Chatur, 4. Turiyam, the fourth reality, the fourth name numbered reality. It's not the fourth reality, all the other 3 realities are there. No. The fourth numbered reality, who is called as the fourth form. That is the only reality. Maya Sankhya Turiyam. I bow into the Brahman who is considered as the fourth from the standpoint of all these 3 states. I bow to that Brahman who is eternal, who is birthless, who is immortal, who is the supreme goal, and who appears in the waking state and enjoy all gross objects. And after enjoying all the gross objects, and it will come to the dream state, emerging all the senses and organs into the dream state. And there also it creates all my desires, all my impressions, all the things which I enjoyed in the gross state, in the waking state. And after enjoying in the form of thoughts in the deep dream state, it will go again to the deep sleep state, where there is no other second entity permitted or seen, so that non-duality is being perceived without the knowledge. There is no dualistic perception, where the fear, where the worries are sprouted when there is a dualistic impression or perception. Where there is no dualistic, non-duality is perceived, there only happiness remains. When there is no second entity, there is an absence of worries, and this absence of worries are being presented as in the form of happiness. Really speaking, there is no happiness. Thus, it is the fourth number when we consider all other three states as numbers. This Maya Sankhya, a Sankhya, a number brought into the Brahman in the form of fourth state, as though it's not a state, because when we consider all these three states are having different experiences, but all these three states are staying in one entity, which is also part of these three states. Suppose when we divide $1 into 4, in order to get the fulfillment of $1, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, still the dollar is unfulfilled, not complete. Then we keep the fourth quarter, then whole dollar is complete. Similarly, the entire dollar is in the form of Brahman. These three states are the quarters of Brahman. So that to fulfill the whole form of this dollar, we keep the Brahman as the fourth quarter. Really speaking, it's not the fourth quarter. Because of Brahman, all these three states are occurring. Because of the Brahman, all the experiences are occurring. But for the sake of understanding, for the sake of studies, Turiyam is introduced. There is another thing which is which stands in the fourth number, that is called Brahman, and this number is due to the Maya. Only due to the form of Maya. It's never appeared as the fourth state. It is the base of all these three experiences in that consciousness. Unto that consciousness, I bow myself for the sake of completion of the Upanishad properly, to take away all my obstacles properly, and also make me understand the Māṇḍūkya Upanishad, so that I will be freed from the universe while living. For that purpose, commentator has written two prayers, and this is the first prayer, showing all the three states, and also Maya Sankhya, a number which is unreal, is been presented as in the form of Brahman, Chaturiyam. Turiyam Brahma. And for that Brahman, unto that Brahman, I bow myself. This is the meaning of first mantra. Now, go to the second mantra. यो विश्वात्मा विदिज विषयान् प्राप्य भोगान् स्तविष्ठान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् सुविधि विभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वान् एतान् पुनरभिशनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगत गुणगणः पात्वसौरस्थुरीयः. So, I will read once more. It will be helpful. Let me see the time first. I think we have enough time. 10 minutes more. Yes. Yo Vishwatma. Once I will read once more. So it will be helpful for you also. Yo Vishwatma Vidija Vishayan Prashya Bhogan Stavishtan Paschachanyan Swamiti Vibhavan Jyotisha Svena Sukshman Sarvan Getan Punarabhishanai Swatmanistapayitva hitva vigata gunpuriyaha. Another beautiful prayer by the commentator before entering to the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. We will see for 10 minutes. So it starts like this. I will start from the fourth line again. Pātu asau naha turiyaha. The word naha appears in the first verse also, in the second verse also. Naha means us, ourself. May this fourth, who is the Supreme Lord, move. May the one who is standing in the fourth number, the Supreme Lord, let this Supreme Lord protect us. Padu, protect us. Padu asau naha turiyaha. Turiyam already introduced in the first verse. Padu, may this fourth one. Maya Sankhya Turiyam. We give the number 4 for the Brahman because we consider this Brahman is the sustainer of these 3 states, and we give some number for these 3 states. So that we give a number for the entire Brahman for the sake of understanding. Waking state is first in number, first. Dream state stands second. Deep sleep state stands third. The entire process is due to the sustainer, and we give a number 4 for the sustainer. That's all. Understand in this way. Okay. So, may the fourth Maya number, which is the 4, protect us. Who is that? Hitva sarvan visheshan, by giving up. Hitva, by giving up. What is being given up? Which are the things to be given up? Hitva sarvan vishesha. All the features which we have enjoyed through these states. Visheshan. Specific features which we enjoyed in these 3 states. Hitva sarvan visheshan. All because dream state and the waking state seems to be very real while we are dealing in that. And we consider all the things are real. Our house, our wife, our children, our job, my dollars, everything seems to be real. Waking state itself is unreal. What to talk about the things appearing in the waking state? You have to think 1,000 times. From the standpoint of reality, we have gone through special features in these 2 states. Hitva sarvan visheshan. By giving up all the specific features mentioned through these 3 states, vigata guna gana, without having any of these qualities which are being mentioned, gunas, which are appearing in the empirical states, I am a man, I am a female, I am tall, I am short, I am beautiful, I am fair, I am one-eye blinded guy, I have gray hair, I have blue hair. All these features are some qualities in the empirical world. But Brahman being formless, without having any name, when there is no form, it doesn't have any qualities. Vigata, Guna, Gana. There is no such things like what we see appear in this world. This Brahman is void of names and forms. This Brahman is void of all kinds of qualities which appear in the dream state and in the waking state, which is the real form, intrinsic nature of an individual who is in the form of consciousness. May this Lord protect us. This is the last meaning of. Then I have first line onwards. We will see the first line and we will conclude. Yo Vishwatma Vidija Vishayan Prashya Bhogan Stavishtan. Much less similar to the first line of the first verse. Yo Vishwatma. What is meant by Vishwatma? A name is given when the Brahman is reflected in the intellect in the waking state. Vishwaha, a technical name. The Brahman which reflects in our intellect, then we deal in the waking state, then it will get a name called Vishwaha. Yo Vishwatma. Who is Vishwatma? Who is in the form of Vishwa? What he will do? Enjoy all the gross objects. Vidija Vishayan. Who is enjoying all the objects which are differ from each other. Prashya. Ashyadadu, to eat. Here I will convert into enjoy. Vidija Vishayan, which are born out of consciousness, which are not separate from the consciousness. The whole object which are non-separate from the consciousness, but enjoyed by the reflected consciousness. And he get the name called Vishwa in the waking state. Prashya Bhogan Stavishtan in the waking state, who enjoy all the things in the waking state. Yo Vishwatma Vidija Vishayan Prashya Bhogan Stavishtan. Then what he will do after that? Paschad, after that, Sumiti, in its own light, consciousness which is not depending external world for its survival, for its existence, it doesn't lend satta, it doesn't light spurti. It is not lending some energy to its existence. It is not lending some energy for its effulgence. It is self-effulgence, it's self-evident, so that by its self-effulgence, Samidhi, Vibhavan, Jyotisha Svena Sukshman. By its own light, it creates all the things inside the mind, what it has experienced, and according to the impressions, and enjoy there. The reflected consciousness create itself the objects inside the mind by its own rays and its own light. All the impressions will get into the form of thoughts and it enjoys. And it's a proper experience for everybody. All of us, we know that dream is a experience which which includes a lot of things which are not from outside. So here in the dream state, it get the name Taijasa, which we are going to study. Yo Vishwatma. When it is appearing the waking state, it get the name Vishwa. When it appears in the dream state, it will get a Taijasa, the name. Here, after enjoying the external state, the waking state, then afterwards, withdrawing all the senses inside and light the things in by itself and enjoy all the things itself. This consciousness which should protect us, which is there inside our body through different states, and it will enter into the deep sleep state, which we are going to discuss in the next class. Om Susti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanibhya Shupamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhinam Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Choparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamatav Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om